Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila, text, the spiritual masters, text number 37 onwards, right? We'll read the verse number, I think 45. It has a long purport. Echaya Guru Siksha Guru Ye Amara Tan Savara Padapadme Koti Namaskara. Translation. These six are my instructing spiritual masters, and therefore I offer millions of respectful obeisances onto their lotus feet. Purport. By accepting the six Goswamis as his instructing spiritual masters, the author specifically makes it clear that one should not be recognized as a Gaudiya Vaishnava if he is not obedient to them. Text number 38. Bhagavanera Bhaktayata Shivasa Pradhana Tan Sabhara Padapadme Sahasra Pranama. There are innumerable devotees of the Lord, of whom Srivas Thakur is the foremost. I offer my respectful obeisances thousands of times unto their lotus feet. Advaita Acharya Prabhura Amsa Avatara Tanra Pada Padme Koti Pranati Amara. Advaita Acharya is the Lord's partial incarnation, and therefore I offer my obeisances millions of times at his lotus feet. Nityanandaraya Prabhura Swarupa Prakasha Tanra Pada Padma Vando Yandra Muniyadasa. Sri Nityanandaram is the plenary manifestation of the Lord, and I have been initiated by him. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. Gadadhar Panditadi Prabhura Nija Shakti Tan Sabara Charane Mora Sahasra Pranati. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the internal potencies of the Lord, of whom Sri Gadadhar Prabhu is the foremost. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Swayam Bhagavan Tanhara Padarvinde Ananta Pranama. Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the personality of Godhead himself, and therefore I offer innumerable prostrations at his lotus feet. Savarane Prabhure Kariya Namaskara Echaya Tenho Yache Kariya Vichara. Having offered obeisances unto the Lord and all his associates, I shall now try to explain these six diversities in one. Purport. There are many unallied devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all of whom are considered associates surrounding the Lord. Krishna should be worshipped with his devotees. The diverse principles are therefore the eternal paraphernalia through which the absolute truth can be approached. So we'll read this verse. We will recite text number 44. Yadyapi Amara Guru Chaitanyera Dasa Tathapi Janiye Ami Tanhara Prakasha. Yadyapi Amara Guru Chaitanyera Dasa Tatapi Janiye Ami Tanhara Prakasha. Yadyapi Amara Guru Chaitanya Radasa Tatapi Janiye Ami Tanhara Prakasha. Yadyapi Amara Guru Chaitanya Radasa Tathapi janiyami tanhara prakasha. Please chant. Matajis? Mataji? Yadyapi, even though, Amara, my Guru, spiritual master, Chaitanyera of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Dasa, the servitor, Tatapi, still, Janiye, no, Ami, I, Tanhara, of the Lord, Prakasha, direct manifestation. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada. Although I know that my spiritual master is a servitor of Sri Chaitanya, I know him also as a plenary manifestation of the Lord. Purport. Every living entity is essentially a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the spiritual master is also his servant. Still, the spiritual master is a direct manifestation of the Lord. With this conviction, a disciple can advance in Krishna consciousness. The spiritual master is non-different from Krishna because he is a manifestation of Krishna. Lord Nityananda, who is Balarama himself, the first direct manifestation of or expansion of Krishna, is the original spiritual master. He helps Lord Krishna in his pastimes, and he is a servant of the Lord. Every living entity is eternally a servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Therefore, the spiritual master cannot be other than a servant of Lord Chaitanya. The spiritual master's eternal occupation is to expand the service of the Lord by training disciples in a service attitude. A spiritual master never poses as the Supreme Lord himself. He is considered a representative of the Lord. The revealed scriptures prohibit one's pretending to be God, but a bona fide spiritual master is a most faithful and confidential servant of the Lord, and therefore deserves as much respect as Krishna. Text number 45 also you can read. Guru Krishna Rupahana Shastrera Pramane Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Karena Bhaktagane. According to the deliberate opinion of all revealed scriptures, the spiritual master is non-different from Krishna. Lord Krishna, in the form of the spiritual master, delivers his devotees. Purport. The relationship of a disciple with his spiritual master is as good as his relationship with the Supreme Lord. A spiritual master always represents himself as the humblest servitor of the personality of Godhead, but the disciple must look upon him as the manifested representation of Godhead. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalvatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langayate girim Yatkripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namaha Pankajanabhaya Namaha Pankajamaline Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye. So this chapter, first chapter, Adilila, titled as these spiritual masters. Right? I don't have to tell so many things about spiritual master, disciple, because whoever comes to ISKCON, after some time, everybody will keep asking, "Who is your guru? Who is your guru? Are you initiated? Are you initiated?" So if you're not initiated, they will say your life is a waste. There are some devotees who have not been initiated 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. They would say, "Arey, your life is wasted, Krishna will not take your service." They will preach like that. And then there are so many groups, guru groups. Take initiation from my guru. All that canvassing also goes on. So devotees are confused from whom to take initiation, right? Everybody thinks my guru is the best. So there is no need to tell, that you have to take initiation because they will not let you live peacefully if you don't take initiation. Today, tomorrow, you have to take initiation. So today we will understand various aspects of gurus. There are various types, like, in Andhra, they say pickpocket, everybody needs to have a guru, right? Suppose a pickpocket wala, chore, he learns some tricks, how to pickpockets. So he keeps calling guru, right? In Andhra, they say guru, like that. So everybody wants to become a guru, and then everybody has a guru, right? So who is actually real guru, right? So there are three types of gurus. One is Vartama Pradarshaka Guru, another is Siksha Guru, and third one is Diksha Guru, right? There are three kinds of gurus. Like Srila Prabhupada writes in Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, that for Dhruv Maharaj, Suniti, she was the Vartama Pradarshaka Guru, right? She's the one who has guided him to take shelter of Lord Narayana, Lord Krishna. And then his Diksha Guru was Narad Muni. Narad Muni came and, right? Then who was his Siksha Guru? Right? Govinda. Right? Srila Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Age, Shlok, that Govinda, he is the Siksha Guru of all living entities. Krishna. Like that. So, we must seek, what is the real qualification of a guru. Tasmad gurum prapadyeta jijnasur shreya uttamam. Shabde pare nishnatam brahmani yet upashramashrayam. Right? So anybody who wants to get out of this darkness of material existence, they must approach a spiritual master. Tasmat gurum prapadyeta jijnasur. Jijnasur shreya uttamam. So Shreya, even Arjuna also asked the same question. Right? Karpanya doshopata swabhava pruchamitvam dharma sammuda cheta. Yat shreyan nishchitam bruhitanme sishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. So Krishna did not teach Arjuna how to fight and all. Because Arjuna wanted, what is Shreya for me? What is the best, thing for me? Shreya. So that's how Krishna taught Bhagavad Gita. Right? So Shreya Uttamam, like that. And then Shabde Pare Nishnatam. Yeah? Brahmani et Upashramashrayam. Shabde means, Sridhar Swami comments that Shabde means Vedic literature. Pare means Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shabde Pare Nishnatam. The bona fide spiritual master should be well versed in all Vedic literatures. In all Vedic literatures. And also should have a direct experience of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nishnatam. Then he can guide his disciple properly on the path. So what is the symptom of a person who has attained these both things? Shabde means one who is well versed in Vedic literature and one who has a direct experience of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a person, upashramashrayam, he will become free from material attractions. He has nothing to do with the material attractions. He is completely free. So Jiva Goswami says, quoted from Mahabharata, that a spiritual master who is not free from material desires and then who indulges in illicit activities and then who is not able to guide the disciple properly, such a guru should be rejected. It is Jiva Goswami, it is from Mahabharata. And so Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments in this regard that if a disciple, the spiritual master, if he is unable to clear the doubts of the disciple, then the disciple will lose interest in Krishna consciousness. Then he will, develop doubts over the spiritual master. Then he will give up Krishna consciousness. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also says that if the guru is not situated in Shabde and Pare, completely situated, then he will not be able to, convince the disciple to completely surrender to Shri Krishna and worship him. So sometimes he says that even though the spiritual master is completely situated in Krishna consciousness and also well versed in Vedic literature, but if the disciple is attracted to these two things, one is jnana, another is karma, then he will not be able to attain success immediately. So then what is the qualification? We always talk about spiritual master. But what is my qualification? Right? So my qualification should be, I should be free from desire for acquiring knowledge. I should be free from performing fruitive activities. And I should be free from desire for material enjoyment. So such a person, he is qualified. That's why Srila Prabhupada said, the husband is potent and the wife is fertile. Then the child will take birth. If if any of these two is lacking, then there will be no child. In the same way, the spiritual master should be powerful and the disciple should be sincere. Then the bhakti will arise in the heart of the disciple. Um, uh, like like in ISKCON, like Srila Prabhupada mentions in two places. Srila Prabhupada mentions that, and Srila Prabhupada gives another qualification of a spiritual master in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila 7th chapter, that one who understands that there is no difference between Krishna and his holy name. He is a perfect chanter. And then such a person will experience ecstasy. And such a devotee who experiences ecstasy while chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he is eligible to accept disciples. That means one who is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one who has attained Siddhi in chanting Hare Krishna, such a person should be able to, can give proper initiation and decide, then he can like that. So, Srila Prabhupada says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila 7th chapter, and also Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto, 5th chapter, 23-24 verses, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Prabhupada 2 times wrote this purport that actually in Kali Yuga, there is no need to take initiation because Hare Krishna Mahamantra is sufficient to give you Krishna Prema. Because Hare Krishna Mahamantra, for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you don't need to take initiation. Then somebody may ask, why are we insisting that you must take initiation? Then Srila Prabhupada explains that even though by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we will get Krishna Prema, because right now we are in bodily concept of life, we are prone to contamination of lust, greed and anger. Because of that, it is very difficult to advance in Krishna consciousness. In order to become free from material contamination, one must do deity worship. So in order to do deity worship, one must receive Gayatri Mantra. So that is initiation actually. Initiation means receiving Gayatri Mantra. So Prabhupada says, our system is Bhagavat Vidhi and then, Pancharatrik Vidhi. So Pancharatrik Vidhi, you take initiation, you chant Gayatri Mantra, then you do deity worship every day, then you become free from material contamination. At the same time, you study Bhagavatam, you do Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, these 9 types of process, and then you become perfect. So both the processes, both are like two railway tracks, both are required. One is Bhagavat Vidhi, another is Pancharatrik Vidhi. Right? So our parampara is mostly Bhagavat Vidhi, Siksha Guru. Like there is 100 years of difference between Narottam Das Thakur and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. But Prabhupada wrote in the introduction to Chaitanya Charitamrita that Narottam Das Thakur initiated Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur never initiated in general that Baldev Vidyabhushan. Baldev Vidyabhushan was initiated from a Madhva Sampradaya Guru. But Prabhupada wrote, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur initiated Baldev Vidyabhushan. Right? Baldev Vidyabhushan initiated Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj initiated Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Guru is Bipin Bihari Goswami. But he never mentions in it, but he considered Jagannath Das Goswami as his Siksha Guru. But, like that. So this is our system, like that. So, so in our system, now GBC also has passed a resolution that Srila Prabhupada is the preeminent Siksha Guru for all the devotees of ISKCON. And then we have a system where you take initiation from a certain guru. But if you see that, all the gurus, they have so many thousands of disciples and then they have no time. Right? So that is why Srila Prabhupada actually, even though Srila Prabhupada in initial years, he personally dealing with all the disciples and all. Then after one point of time, he became a lot of disciples. Then Prabhupada said, now previously all the devotees, they used to go and meet Srila Prabhupada, and it's a free access. But after some time, Prabhupada said only temple presidents can write the letters, because so many letters are coming. And so then Prabhupada said, temple president of the town, city, he is the Siksha Guru of all the devotees in that city. Like Brajahari Prabhu for us, he is the Siksha Guru of all the devotees in the jurisdiction of Juhu temple. Because so nowadays, what happens, so much focus on Diksha Guru. So this now the system has become in such a way that the president and devotees, they became like manager and employees relationship. Like previously when I joined, it was like, some senior devotee say, like Rasraj or Kapil Prabhu would say something, we cannot actually dare to disobey, because that is the order of the Guru. Right? So actually we should recognize this fact in our lives, that whoever is our temple authority, he is our Siksha Guru. And as long as knowledge is concerned, we take from Srila Prabhupada books. But as long as as far as service is concerned, so that concerned authority, you must obey. If you have problem, if you think that particular devotee is not behaving properly, or is not following regulatory principles, then you can change your authority. But as long as you are in some department, you must accept that department head as your Siksha Guru, and temple president as your Siksha Guru. And then we should conduct our lives in such a way that, we don't disobey, authorities' instructions. Right? So many times, Srila Prabhupada, some disciples, they would go and complain, that so temple president is not behaving well and all. So Prabhupada would always encourage, no, you follow him. And then when it comes, then there is a very serious allegations and all, then Prabhupada would change and all that. But as otherwise, in general, Prabhupada encouraged, the devotees to follow their authorities. Otherwise, if you do, because there is no direct relationship with our Diksha Guru, because they are always traveling. Then you are if you are not following temple authority, and then you are not accepting temple authority as your Siksha Guru, then you are like a kite whose thread is cut. You fly the kite, and then kite is flying, and if you cut the thread, then by controlling the thread, by pulling the thread, you can control the kite. But if the thread is cut, then the kite flies here and there. It has no direction, like that. So it is not that what service you are doing, but how you are doing, with what consciousness you are doing. So the whole purpose of ISKCON movement is to make us obedient and humble. Prabhupada said, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirasik nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigata jvara. In that verse, Srila Prabhupada writes the purport that in Krishna consciousness, it should be like a military organization. In military, you go and tell, the colonel or, major, they order you something. You have to say, yes, sir, and, right? Yeah, you have to say yes, sir, and do it. Right? Otherwise, they will be court-martialed, for disobedience. Like that, Prabhupada wanted ISKCON movement like a military organization where, everybody becomes like a, very obedient, Sainik, and then you follow. Sometimes Prabhupada says it may be difficult to lead such a life like a military organization. But, for becoming perfect, we must follow this discipline. Right? Discipline. So, when we keep on, saying, I will not do, who are you? Tum kaun hote wo mere ko bolne wala? Right? So, it's easy to rebel against temple authorities. Right? Very easy to rebel against temple authorities because you are not considering him as a Siksha Guru. But actually, that will increase contamination in our heart. Consciousness will not be purified. Right? One more thing Srila Prabhupada says, that when the spiritual master gives the order, along with the order, the capacity to perform that task also is given to the disciple. Suppose, somebody comes and tells you, go to the store and purchase 1 kilo sugar. You don't have to worry, अरे, मैं किधर से पैसा लाऊं, where will I bring money? No, if he gives the order that bring 1 kilo sugar, he will give you the money also. But only thing is you have to go and bring sugar only. Or you should not tell, who are you to tell me? I will not bring. Right? I will do whatever I want. So it is very important. Without following the orders of your authority, Siksha Guru, if you do any service, that doesn't come as a devotional service. It becomes a pious activity. Right? If I collect money, sometimes that is why Srila Prabhupada, he was dealing with one disciple. Prabhupada told him, do book distribution. No, Prabhupada, I can't do it. No. Prabhupada, one disciple went and told Prabhupada, I want to take divorce from my wife. Prabhupada said, no, don't do it. Like that. So then he kept on insisting. Then Prabhupada said, okay, take. Then the disciples were surprised. Why did you allow Prabhupada? He said, if I don't allow him, he will take it anyway. Then if I don't allow him, it will become a disobedience. Third offense. Disobedience, disobeying the orders of the spiritual master. Like that. So another time also Prabhupada was telling, you do book distribution. Prabhupada said, no, I don't want to do. I want to do accounting, like that. So Prabhupada wanted him to do collection money. He suggested something else. That time also refused. Then Prabhupada, okay, do it. Accounts. Because Prabhupada said, okay, if I don't, then he will disobey my instruction. And then he will get offense. He will get offense. So that way also, it is there. The whole spiritual life is depending on how we obey the orders of our spiritual authorities. So that relationship has to be built properly. So if you don't like authority, you can change your department, you can change your service. But as long as we are, sometimes we may differ our opinion with him. We can always go and discuss with him like this. But if still the authority says, no, you must do like this, then you must do it. So that is the proper etiquette should be followed. Simply by following authorities, spiritual master, the whole knowledge will be, whatever we read, it is only information. The knowledge has to be revealed in the heart. Yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyaiva prakashante mahatmana. So it is said that one who has unflinching faith in the spiritual master and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to that person the entire purport of Vedic knowledge will be revealed in his heart. Right? So in Mahabharata Adi Parva, there is a very beautiful story. I'll tell it in a very samshipta, very concise. That there is a guru, Acharya Daumya. He had 3 disciples. One is Aruni, another is Upamanyu, third one is Veda. Once the spiritual master ordered Aruni that in the farm, because of the heavy rain and all, the bank was broken. You go and build the bank so that the water doesn't enter the crops, like that. So he went. Then he was unable to stop the flow of the water. Then he lied down, stopping the water from going to the crop, farm land. Then the spiritual master asked, where is he? Where is, Arani? Where is Arani? Then, you only sent him to, build the bank in the farm. Then this came in the morning. So he was lying there. Then he called, hey, Aruni, where are you? Where are you? Then he said, oh, like this, I was lying down because, you have told me to stop, but, I'm not able to stop because that's why I lied down. And Daumya, he said, oh, very nice, you are very obedient. I bless you that all Vedic knowledge is manifest in your heart. Like that. So he called, there is one more disciple, Upamanyu. He called Upamanyu, you take care of the cows, you graze the cows every day. Right? So every day he is grazing the cows, he is taking cows for, gocharan. Then he saw, this Upamanyu was very, atta-katta, very healthy. So Guru asked, what are you eating? He said, no, I am taking Bhiksha and eating. He said, without giving Bhiksha to the Guru, you should not eat. You must give it to me. So he is collecting Bhiksha and giving it to the Guru every day. After some time again he saw, then he saw, Upamanyu, abhi bhi bahut atta-katta, kya kar rahe ho? Then Upamanyu said, I am taking second Bhiksha. First I am collecting and giving it to you. Next, again I am going. He said, no, this is against Bhiksha because you should not go to the same place twice. Then the Jivika, others' Jivika will be affected. Like that. You will be disturbing. Then he said, okay. Like that. So after some time again he met and then still atta-katta. Hey, Upamanyu, now what are you doing? He said, I am drinking milk. Then Guru said, no, I told you only take care of the cows, not to drink the milk. He stopped drinking milk also. Then after some time again he met and then said, hey Upamanyu, you're still atta-katta, very healthy. What are you doing? He said, when the calves are drinking, I take the foam from the calf's mouth. So no, that is not allowed because if you are taking the foam, the cows will think, okay, let this guy take. So they will they will drink less milk. So that's also not allowed. So everything, all avenues are stopped. Then he was feeling very hungry. So one day, what is the name of the patta that he ate? Some in Telugu it's called jilledu, whatever. So very, very rough and this thing. And then when he ate that, he went inside and then he lost his eyes. He lost his eyes. Then he became Anda Yatanjar Upaniyamanas. So Anda fell into the well. So Guru was looking at it. Upamanyu bahut din se mila nahi, kya ho gaya? Then they were all searching. Hey Upamanyu, where are you? Upamanyu, where are you? Then said, Guru Maharaj, I am in the well. Said, what happened? And then they took him out and said, what happened? Why did you fall into the well? Said, you stopped all the avenues for my eating. So I ate some, because I was feeling hungry. I ate that poisonous leaves. So I lost my eyesight and then I fell into the well. So Guruji was very pleased. I said, I'm very nice, very nice. You do one thing. You pray to Ashwini Kumaras. They will, help you. Then there are some prayers. He offered prayers to Ashwini Kumaras. Right? So Ashwini Kumaras, they came and they offered some food and some medicine, and all that. So they then this Upamanyu offered that also to the Guru. So Ashwini Kumaras are very pleased. Your Guru also did like this, to his Guru. So I'm very pleased with you. So we will give you the eyesight back. So Ashwini Kumaras blessed Upamanyu. Then the spiritual master is also very pleased. He said, I am blessing you that all the Vedic knowledge is manifest in your heart. Now your education is finished. Like that. Then other guy, Veda, he told him, you do Guru Sushrusha. You do Guru Sushrusha. Like that. So He was taking care of the Guru Patni, his children, all the necessities of the house, cutting the wood, all that, So the first, that verse comes, buddhi yukto jahati ho ube sukrita dushkrute tasma yujasva yogaha karmashu kaushalam. This word kaushalam, Manacharya explains that the first instruction the Guru teaches the disciple how to grow the kusha grass and cut. Because kusha grass is the most important ingredient in performing nitya yajnas, agnihotras. So spiritual master teaches him how to grow the kusha grass and then how to cut it. There is a way to cut in such a way that again it will grow. Otherwise, if you cut in an improper way, it doesn't grow again. Like that. So that kusha, from there, the expertise to cut kusha grass, from there, Krishna used that word kaushalam. Manacharya comments. So he was working hard, he was carrying the arani, the wood, he would go to the forest, cut the wood, bring and arrange all the paraphernalia for Nitya Agnihotra, all that. So one day he was carrying wood, bundle of wood from the forest, and that because it became very heavy, it fell from his head. And then along with that, he saw one grey hair. Then he sat down, then he started thinking, अयो इतने साल हो गया ये मेरे को एक श्लोक भी नहीं सिखाया मेरे गुरु महाराज ने. So Guru asked, why are you crying? Why are you crying? Sir, I see my hair is gray. So I'm becoming old, and then I did not learn even one. You didn't teach me even one Vedic verse, one mantra. One mantra. So what should I do? Mera life is wasted like that. So he said, don't worry. I am very pleased with your service. I am blessing. You don't have to learn anything. I am blessing you that, all the Vedic knowledge is manifest in your heart. Then he said, now your education is finished. You go. See, then he got married and then he became Guru. He became Guru. Then there is another story. Where he said, Hare, I will not trouble all my disciples like my Guru has troubled me, simply doing Guru Sushusha, all that. So there is one very long story, Uttanka, he got trained and all that. So I will not tell some other time. So like this, in the beginning itself, Mahabharat, it was taught that, how to follow, like our that Prabhuji was telling, Vayasaki Prabhu, that how, in America they have this, don't listen to anybody who is more than 30 years old. So they are actually rebellious against authorities and all. So it is the greatness of Srila Prabhupada that how he bent all these Westerners who are educated not to accept the authority. Not to accept the authority. How they surrendered to Srila Prabhupada, then how, it's so wonderful, actually the greatest miracle on this earthly planet, where Americans, surrendering to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was very, very proud that, Jawaharlal Nehru, when he went to London, he wanted to have a white servant, white servant. So he paid a lot of money to white servant, to keep him in his service. But Prabhupada said, I am a very poor Indian. I don't have any money, but I have 10,000 white servants. And then they give me all kinds of service. What, they are actually completely surrendered to, like once in Boston, they purchased one old bus, one old bus. So they said, Prabhupada, let us go for morning walk. Then Prabhupada said, that Boston pier, whatever. He said, let us go. So when Prabhupada and all the disciples, they came, all the seats were taken out. Very old bus. There was no seat. Then what to do? Then Prabhupada, they brought a chair and they tied it. And then they made Prabhupada sit, and all the other disciples and all, they were sitting on the floor in the bus, like Sankirtan buses. And then Prabhupada, he was, can you imagine? Prabhupada in 1966, he came to 1965 when he arrived in Boston. He visited. So he was actually guiding, take right, take left, take right, take left. you know. What? Then the disciples were surprised. Prabhupada, how do you know? How do you know? Like that. Prabhupada, I know everything. Right? Because you knew the way. And then there is one huge, he stopped. There is a huge board, billboard. There, unalloyed steel company. There is an advertisement, unalloyed steel company. So from that, Prabhupada actually coined, unalloyed devotional service. Prabhupada talked about unalloyed devotional service. So Prabhupada came, to teach unalloyed devotional service to all of us. Prabhupada, as soon as he would see somebody, he would recognize, what is his mentality, what is his previous, sometimes in some gurus they say, some acharyas they say that a spiritual master should know his previous life of the disciple so that he will know what is his swabhava and accordingly engage him in the service. Not that everybody like that. General instructions there, Guru, do book distribution, attend Mangalarti, this and that. But after some time, there is something called Guru Datta Seva. Anyway, that is there. So, like once, Pushta Krishna, that time he was Karmi like that. And then he and Gargamuni Maharaj, both of them went to meet Srila Prabhupada. And then, so by that time only he was reading Prabhupada books and all. Then, so Gargamuni Prabhu Maharaj introduced Pushta Krishna, this is so and so, like that. So he revealed that he spoke very nicely that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and all that. Then Srila Prabhupada was very pleased with him, because he was preaching Krishna consciousness, teachings of Lord Chaitanya already. He accepted Lord Chaitanya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then after he left, he commented to Gargamuni Maharaj that very nice boy, I will give him sannyas. So at that time he was only 21 years old. 21 years old. Like that. So then later on, he wrote a poem on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wrote a poem on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he told on Mahaprabhu's appearance day, he told his servant to keep this on the altar on his table. So when Prabhupada saw, he said he was very pleased because he did not sign. Prabhupada asked, very nice poem, who wrote? Said so and so. Then he said, call him. Said, you wrote? Yeah. Prabhupada said, yeah. He said, yes. Yes, Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada is very pleased. Then he told him, then he dictated, Prabhupada dictated first time, 6 verses of Sharanagati. Anukulasya Sankalpa Pratikulasya Varjanam. You follow these principles. Like that. Then later on, he initiated him as a Pushta Krishna. So what is the meaning of Pushta Krishna? Because Pushta Krishna means one who becomes nourished by Sri Krishna. Pushta Krishna. Right? So same Pushta Krishna, then he became sannyasi and all. So Srila Prabhupada, it is given in Harishori's Transcendental Diary that Prabhupada is very fond of Hawaii and all. So he used to stay in Hawaii. So anyway, so something happened that Madhudishya Swami, now he was no more. He was actually very great kirtankar and all that. So he was actually, Prabhupada is very pleased with me because he spread Krishna consciousness in Australia. Then he was GBC and all. And then if you read 8th Canto Bhagavatam, at the time this incident happened, Prabhupada was translating and purporting in 8th canto Bhagavatam. Prabhupada wrote about this incident indirectly. So this is happening. That so he had a problem. Then there was a that he was having some affair and all that. Then they said he stole some $80,000 or something like that. So when it came to Prabhupada's notice, that Prabhupada told that, 80,000, that was his salary. You know, like that. So Prabhupada told Pushpa Krishna Maharaj, he was the GBC for Australia at that time. So Prabhupada told Pushpa Krishna Maharaj, don't spread this word out. Don't tell anybody. I will try to bring him back to Krishna consciousness. Okay, if he had illicit affair and all, we'll adjust it like that. So after some time, Madhu Sri Maharaj, he sent back his danda. He said, I'm very ashamed. I'm not able to follow. Like that. And then he wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, I did not steal any money. So Prabhupada was very pleased, saying that, he is feeling ashamed. So Prabhupada said, what is accidental fall down? He said, even if you little bit stray away, but if you come back again to Krishna consciousness, then that is considered as accidental fall down. Accidental fall down. So, then later on, Krishna Krishna Maharaj, he went to Australia. Like, we have now, it has become a disease. If anybody does any mistake, it is all over the internet, blasting devotees, giving, all kinds of abuses, spreading rumors. Such aparadh goes on in the social media, on the net. It's very dangerous. Even if you know that somebody has fallen down, we should not tell anybody. Even if it is a fact that you have seen with your own eyes that so and so is having an affair, still, one should keep quiet. One should not spread. So he went and told everybody in Australia that Madhu Dusha is fallen down. Don't listen to him anymore. Like that. So Prabhupada, he was very, very furious. Said, you rascal, I told you not to tell. Why did you tell him? Why did you tell everybody? Now he will feel ashamed that, I cannot bring him back again. Then after some time, Pushpa Krishna Maharaj wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, I am leaving sannyas because I am not able to follow 4 regulative principles. Like that. Then Prabhupada commented that if you disobey the acharya, if you disobey the, if you disobey, acharya's instructions, then you must fall down. Right? Prabhupada was very pleased with Pushpa Krishna Maharaj. But because of this, he had to leave ISKCON, he had to leave ISKCON. So later on, of course, Prabhupada would never reject anybody. So later on, Prabhupada, he wrote a letter once. When in 1977, he sent a postcard of Hawaii, because Prabhupada's favorite place, two favorite places. One is Juhu Beach, another is Hawaii. Right? So he sent a postcard of Hawaii. He said, Prabhupada, whenever you remember Hawaii, please remember me also. Please remember me also. Then Prabhupada cried. He said, no, I have to remember if I have forgotten you. Right? So so that was Prabhupada's instruction. So we have to be very, very careful in spiritual life. We cannot actually behave in whatever way we want. Walking on the razor's edge, spiritual life. So if you don't have ambition, then it is easy to follow our authority's instruction. If I have an ambition, I want to do this, I want to do that, then if the authority says something, then you don't like it because it is not suiting your ambition plans. Right? If you don't, Prabhupada said, that's why once Srila Prabhupada, he was speaking to the reporters. Then Prabhupada said, our ISKCON devotees, Krishna devotees, they don't have any ambition. Kirtananda Swami, he tried to correct Srila Prabhupada, saying that, explain that no, it is Krishna devotee doesn't have material ambition, but he has spiritual ambition. Srila Prabhupada said, no, he neither has spiritual ambition nor material ambition. He is satisfied if he is able to chant Hare Krishna and if he is able to get some prasad. He is very happy the authorities give him service. Otherwise, take his chadar and clean the doors of temple, the dust. He is very happy. No ambition. Only when we have ambition, I want to become temple president, I want to become GBC, I want to become guru, I want to become this, I want to become that. There is no harm in, desiring. But you wait for Krishna to fulfill that desire. Don't do any politics or lobbying and, all that. It's not required. If there is a desire, Krishna will fulfill. But when we try to fulfill those ambitious desires on our own, lobbying and all, then all the offenses will happen. Right? So devotee is simple. We should lead a simple life. If authority tells us something, you do this service, we will do it. Otherwise, chant Hare Krishna. Right? So, like I told this story before, the greatest service, many times somebody asked Prabhupada, what pleases you most? Sometimes Prabhupada said, distribute my books. Another time Prabhupada said, if you become a nice devotee of Krishna, I'll be very pleased. Right? Another time Prabhupada said, oh, if you chant Hare Krishna very nicely, I'll be very pleased. Like one day, one devotee was narrating the story that all the devotees, they came from all over the world for Mayapur festival. Then temple commander, previously temple commander is a very, very powerful man. Prabhupada said, a temple commander should know each and every nook and corner. Nook and corner of the whole temple. If anything happens, temple commander is responsible, Prabhupada told. He's like that. So, I'll tell you one very interesting story. And that, the concept is now completely changed. Once Prabhupada met, Prabhupada in New Vrindavan, Prabhupada initiated two ladies, one mother and one daughter. One daughter. And the daughter is 16 years old girl. So, when Prabhupada visited Vrindavan, he saw these two ladies, mother and daughter. So Prabhupada recognized, oh, you are from New Vrindavan. Yeah. Where are you staying? They said, we are staying in the guest house. Guest house. Then Prabhupada told him, every day you come for Mangalarti. Every day you come for Mangalarti. So after some time, Prabhupada observed, these two ladies are not coming for Mangalarti. So Prabhupada called Dhananjay Prabhu. That time he was a president. He said, hey, Dhananjay, find out, these two ladies are staying in the guest house. Why they are not coming for Mangalarti? Then Prabhupada, then he went and found out. Then he said, found out that small girl, younger girl, daughter, she was having cancer. And then she was in lot of pain. So she was unable to climb down the stairs. Okay, Prabhupada said, temple president means you are the father of all the devotees in the temple. It is your responsibility to bring her. So every day you bring her on your shoulders for Mangalarti. Like that. And then, so anyways, after some time she died in Vrindavan. So she is the first minor, means what you call unmarried girl, to die. There is a minor, like, there is a way of doing antyakriya for minor girls. Like that. So Prabhupada told that this thing happened in the month of May, very, like in the month of May, it is so hot, the monkeys fall down and die. Crows fall down and die. Vrindavan is very hot, May, June, July. Right? Once I went, after that I never went to meet one devotee to make dress for the Radha Raspberry. So, for an Australian Mataji. So we are designing. That I went For 10 days I stayed in Vrindavan. One day also I could not sleep because it is so hot. Very, very hot. Then that time, maybe 15 years back, there was no AC in the guest house. Uh, very like that. You can just imagine. Anyway, whatever. So, then they were taking that girl for a funeral ceremony and all. So after some time, after they came back, they reported to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, there was a miracle happened today. I said, what happened? When we are taking the body, there was a rain in the month of May. It is very, very unusual in Vrindavan, to rain in the month of May. Prabhupada said, that is not rain. Because a great soul is going back to Godhead, Indra and other demigods, they are showering flowers. Anyway, so that is how Prabhupada actually wanted, the temples to run, and this, all the devotees should be obedient. And anyway, this I got diverted. And then that temple commander, he was actually looking after, then he has to engage everybody in service. But one devotee, he said he is escaping, and he wanted to simply chant. And he was escaping, going on the terrace, sitting under the water tank, escaping. And then he is, how the temple commander, they are very, like that. Hey, why are not here? So then he would escape. Then he was so fed up. Then he went and complained to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, so-and-so from America, he is not doing service. He wants to simply chant Hare Krishna all the time. He is not doing any service. Prabhupada coolly looked at him and said, Hare Krishna chanting is not service? Then he was struck, Yes, Prabhupada. Okay, let him chant. Right? Like that. Anyway. So those were the days. Wonderful, Srila Prabhupada. Everybody, Bhakti Charmara was saying that when devotees, when they would join Hare Krishna movement, they would join and give everything to Prabhupada. All their wealth, every belongings, everything. Many times I told this story. Brahmananda Prabhu, he gave all his, he got inheritance from his mother, and then he gave it to Prabhupada. Then, like, we give all the, when some people, they give donations, we give big frames and all that. So Prabhupada, so he went, then somehow or other, he did not have the copies of Bhagavatam, 3 copies of Bhagavatam, first canto at the time. They were only there. So Prabhupada, Brahmananda Prabhu, he was looking at Prabhupada, that, Prabhupada, I don't have the copies of your Bhagavatam. Prabhupada said $17.5. But Prabhupada, Swamiji, just now I gave you all my inheritance. Oh, that is a different thing. You have to purchase. Okay, but I will give you some concession. You can pay in installments. Okay. So he took So that's how, they surrendered everything to Prabhupada and their lives and like that. So if you go to Hawaii, there are many disciples of Srila Prabhupada, right? Our Vaisheshik Prabhu was telling, and also one more, this Shrutakirti Prabhu, they were telling, right? We didn't know, like Sevadru Prabhu was saying, he went, so he was talking to, said, they don't know who is Krishna. We don't know who is Krishna, but we know Prabhupada. Right? We know Prabhupada. Like Prabhupada, when he was in Mexico, they were so, Prabhupada said Mexico is remnants of Vedic, because they are all Sudras, they're like that. Prabhupada said Vedic, they are under the control of Vedic kings and all. So they became so devoted and mad after Prabhupada. Mad after Prabhupada. So Prabhupada would come, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada would object, don't tell them not to chant Jai Srila Prabhupada. Tell them to chant Hare Krishna. But they won't listen. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Like that. And then, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing, in the Alanada somewhere, so everybody chanting Hare Nitya, Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. So Mahaprabhu had to come out, okay, chant Hare Krishna, like that. Shiva's Thakur was, covering the hand, in the sun. Mahaprabhu asked, hey, Shivas, what is this? I'm covering the sun. And how can you cover the sun? Like, how can you cover yourself? See, when we say you are God, you object. But see, when people are chanting like that, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Okay. Then Prabhupada was taking rest. Then they all wanted to meet Prabhupada. Then all the Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada got him and said, why are they shouting? Prabhupada, they want to have your darshan. And then Prabhupada came in and he gave darshan. And they all, okay, chant Hare Krishna. So one disciple asked Prabhupada, okay, if you don't, you said that Antakalecha Mameva Smaran Muktva Kalevaram, Ya Prayatis Madbhavam Yatinasti Atra Samshaya. If you don't remember Krishna, but if you remember you, if you remember you, still we'll go back to God. Prabhupada felt little bashful, little shy. Prabhupada said yes. Prabhupada said yes. Like that. So we are in connection with the glorious movement. Very wonderful. Srila Prabhupada is there in our lives, and then his very wonderful books are there. Right? Once Gauridas Pandit Prabhu, when Prabhupada was visiting, went inside his room in Vrindavan, his quarters. Gauridas Pandit Prabhu was serving, and then he was reading fourth canto Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada asked, what are you doing? He said, I am reading fourth canto Bhagavatam. Prabhupada said, very good boy. Later on he commented to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, very nice boy, I am very pleased with him. He is reading my books. He is reading my books. Right? If you want to really please Prabhupada, read his books every day. Not a day should go without reading Srila Prabhupada books. 10 pages, 10, whatever. Not a day. Right? In fourth canto Bhagavatam, I'll finish by saying this, that in fourth canto Bhagavatam, Kumara's teaching, Acharya Upasana. So he says, Prabhupada says, the best way to serve the Acharya, to please the Acharya, is hearing from him, to read his books. If you want to please Srila Prabhupada, we must read his books every day. Then we will get all the ideas how to do service, and your chanting will increase nicely, improve nicely. Then you can do service very nicely. So this, so Prabhupada's greatest contribution. So somebody asked Prabhupada, I went there, San Francisco temple, that asana is there. Prabhupada was sitting in that asana. Somebody asked, after you, what will happen? Prabhupada said, I will never die. Then everybody shouted, Jai Srila Prabhupada, I will eternally live in my books. That caption is there in San Francisco, Berkeley temple. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Gaurang Mahaprabhu ki, Gaur Premanande. Thank you very much. Not feeling hungry? Huh? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a nice class. I have one concern. Just like you beautifully explained the position of Prabhupada and narrated so many pastimes, many times it happens with the neophytes like us, like me. Yesterday I met one boy in our youth program also. From last 14 years he is coming to ISKCON, but not at all fixed up, not chanting 16 rounds, just coming to take prasad and sometimes sneaks in this program, sometimes in that program. So I was explaining to him that how you have to, just like you gave example of a kite. So without his moving like that. So I said, you are just coming here to take prasad, which is in one way it is good, but from last 14 years you have not surrendered, you have not accepted any authority. So he said, no, Prabhupada is my authority. So I said, that's all right, but Prabhupada has made ISKCON, Prabhupada has made a system. So if you are not in the system and not following one authority and serving under his guidance, then where are you surrendered to Prabhupada? So many times we hear these so much glories and like that. So devotees tend to go in this extreme direction that I don't need to take initiation. or for me Prabhupada is there. And that way, in fact, they are not following also Prabhupada. So somewhere that
See, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Our Yoga Dharma is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Right? One Acharya explains that if you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is like Kalpa Vriksha. That Hare Krishna Mahamantra will provide everything. Your service, your guru, your initiation, everything. So everybody takes his own time, you know. So in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, it is mentioned that suppose all the disciples of, suppose I have a bona fide spiritual master in this life, then somehow I could not finish my spiritual life, perfection. Then in the next life, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, according to Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there is no need for that person, such a person, to take initiation again, because he already has a guru in his last life. So all these understandings are there. Suppose Prabhupada said, if you don't have faith in anybody, you do. There is a book called Sword of Knowledge. Now I don't know what is the name. Name of the book has changed. Whatever. So Prabhupada wrote, if you don't have faith in anybody living, then you do Nirjan Bhajan. Just sit silent, in a secluded place and chant Hare Krishna. Right? So if you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then if he has a faith in Srila Prabhupada, they will guide him. Because without initiation, you cannot go back to Godhead. That is compulsory. So if not after 14 years, if not after 14 years, in the next life he will take. Like that. So if you chant Hare Krishna, and then if you are associating with the devotees, if you are reading Prabhupada books, eventually they will be led on a proper path. But on their own, at their own time. For everybody, time aayega. Where, like there is an example that if the girl is gone onto the stage to dance, why feel shy, and putting a wheel? Right? Anyway, you come on the stage, you want to dance, you remove the wheel. Like that, Sasuru Maharaj writes that when you keep chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then when we are inattentive, then we will think that I have sacrificed my life, giving up sense enjoyment, but I am sitting here chanting inattentively. If I am chanting anyway, let me chant attentively. But that feeling will come after 25, 30 years of sadhana. But even though we know that, inattentive chanting is offensive, but, everything takes time. So, he will come on the path. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.